All right, this is my channel, Seeking My Creator. This is Gunda. My title is Gundus. The name of my Ligas is Andrew, because it's technically the name of I gotta do a video on the Ligas, a proper video, because when I first found out about it, it made me really, 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 really annoyed. It made me so annoyed I didn't know exactly what to do. So this video is brought to you today by the question why. Always ask why. And I'm gonna call this video You've Been Genesis 6. You're part something and part is not human. Alright, so Genesis 6. And humans began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them. So this is talking about the growth of people, of man, of the species of man. When man began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them. So they're talking about the increase in the population of the women. And the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married them as they chose. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives whomever they chose. So there's a big difference here between man and the sons of God. Usually this verse they're talking about angels coming down and having children with human women, with women from the species of man. I try to be exacting with my words. There are different species out there. So Genesis 6, this one. Oh, this one has interleaving Hebrew. That's something I'll be reading up later. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Let's try this one. So the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal, his days shall be 120 years. Meaning that mankind has a basic lifespan of at least 120 years if they live right. But Adam and all those other guys before, they lived up to at least over 500 years on average. They were giants in the earth in those days, and also after, when the sons of God came on to the daughters of men, and they bare them children. The same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. So, hey, fair use, man. Fair use. A lot of fair use. So what's happening here is that the children of the children between women from the species of man and the sons of God, or the angels, were extremely powerful in one way or another. They either controlling society, or they had some sort of extreme physical power, sort of like superheroes or mutants. Christian Standard Bible. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and afterward, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of mankind, who bore children to them, they were powerful men of old, the famous men. Okay, see, they were famous. They were also so powerful they pretty much almost destroyed everything. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great upon the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was altogether evil at the time. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually. When the Lord saw that human wickedness was widespread on the earth, and that every inclination of human mind was nothing but evil all the time. So they were pretty much destroying life. And the Lord regretted that he made man and grieved in his heart. And the Lord repented. So repent and regret, does that mean the same thing? That he had made man on the earth and it grieved him in his heart. Okay, so so the Lord said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the earth, every man and beast, crawling creature, bird of the air, for I am grieved that I have made them. And the Lord said, I shall destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, fowls of the air, for 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 it repenteth me that I have made them. I wonder why. They didn't say it was gonna wipe out the fallen angels, but I think that's in another version. I think that's in the apocryphal versions that were left out of most standard Bibles. Okay, so this whole section is but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Alright, so Noah was pretty much was one of the few people who was left uninfected by this whole thing. I think this was more of an infection. Like these angels came down and they tried to terraform the entire planet. They was changing the DNA of everything, not just man, but animals, which is why the animals had to be wiped out too. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was just a man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. These are the family records of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among his contemporaries. Noah walked with God. So Noah was following God's instructions. God said, well, at least I'm not going to destroy him. He's like the only one left following instructions. Alright, this is the account of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generations. Noah walked with God. You know, one says account, one says generations, this one says records. I wonder what the original word was. The family records of Noah. Story about him. See, almost all these Bibles have a similar wording. Generations, descendants, his descendants. See, all these Bibles are taken from at least a few core translations. I wonder what the original one is like. This one is interlinear Hebrew, so I'm not sure if that's the same translation that they all use. I'll have to do more studying on that. As many, I've heard it said by many people that when you look at the Greek and you compare it to the current Bible, it doesn't match up. Noah had three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, these three sons are by no means the entire family tree of all the people who are in the world today. As you do more research, you'll realize that some people don't technically fit into the family trees of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. It covers a sizable portion of the population of people that live, and it encompasses man and those things that are part man, part something else. You'll have to read other stories and other histories from other cultures to get a handle on that. All right. So all these ones are saying the same thing. He begat three sons. Noah had three sons. Still getting Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right. Is there anything down here? Noah did not favor. Noah did not find favor in the eyes of men. In the eyes of men. Oh, that's interesting. They hated and persecuted him because both by his life and preaching he condemned the world. Oh, so Noah openly protested what was being done on the planet, but he found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and this made him more honorable than men of renown. Alright, this is the pulpit commentary. Here in the story of the flood, if anywhere observes Rosmu, I can't pronounce this word, Rosenmuller. I know there's a chocolate named Muller. Can can traces be detected of two distinct documents? Du, Durum Mon Mo Nu Men Torum. The alternate use of the names of the deity, frequent repetition of same things, and the particular forms of blah 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 blah, and particular use of particular forms of the expression. And in verses 9-13 compared with Genesis 5:16, Blake, Church, and consensus on others first instances of this repetition. I'm not understanding this. Bring down the history to the point which degeneracy of man causes God to resolve the destruction of the world. I think this document, the Durum Monumentorum, is talking about why God has to destroy the world when man behaves badly. Okay, so this is talking about the deluge, a brief description of the cause of the destruction of the world. Alright, so this is talking about Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Um, come on, come on. Oh, I'm gonna have to look at all these other ones later. Alright, that's the one I was looking for, Japheth. No one next. Who's Tabai? Yiddish, which is the current stand-in for Hebrew, is a very numerical language and can be coded. Oh, what do you mean? This should be. Oh, this is part of the main website. Sorry. All right, Ham. Yeah, you're gonna notice that I'm gonna skim things over a lot. And I'm gonna go silent on some passages because I'm reading some of this stuff for the first time. And as you can clearly see the link up. Yeah, you can see the link. Oh, so Egypt wasn't called black. They called the soil there black. It was called the land itself black, not the land of black people. I really don't like you Afrocentrics now. Always putting things down to being black when it's not. Alright. I gotta look up something here in the Jewish Encyclopedia. I've heard it said before that ham is cham. Just type it in here. Cham. No. No. I prefer books to websites because it's harder to change a book after you've printed it. I'm not finding anything on the channel. Let me try something. Last page. Alright, I didn't think I get an entire family tree of cham. Oh, so Nimrod is a Hamite. Alright, let me just go back over here. Alright. What website is this? It's talking about the black people cursed. No, there exists a myth of inferiority with apparent biblical roots. This theological basis provided raw material necessarily to convince slaves that to resist their assigned inferior status was to resist the will of God. Oh, so they're telling the slaves, hey, if you resist, you're going against God. This myth became an authoritative myth because it was rooted in theology. The slave owners used this twisted theory to sustain the perverted to slave owners use this twisted theology to sustain a perverted sociology. This process known as sacralization, the development of theological and religious beliefs to serve the interests of a particular ethnic or racial group. So there's a word for command. Wait. Let's go back. Sacralization. So there's a word for for using religion to further your ethnic groups interests. So there's a word for just furthering the interests of your ethnic group. And what do we get when we look at Google? Sacralization is a congenial anomaly in which the transverse process of the last lumbar vertebrae fuses with the sacrum or ilium. This fusion may occur on one side or both. Wow. So I'm gonna get a medical term if I try to look it up. Wait, sociology. Alright, sacralization may refer to sanctification, the act or process of acquiring sanctity in a religious context. For sacralization or as a social or political phenomenon, see political religion. Okay, so they're government religion. So this is. Alright, let me try this. Political religion. Just going on a tangent here. And okay, so we have fascism, dictatorships. Yeah, basically. So it's talking about how one government abuses another government of people. Alright, getting back to the read. Let me try this. I could have gone down one extra link. Catholic Encyclopedia. Chamites. Hamites. Alright, Chamites. No, no, no. A.V. Ham, some of them know, is one of the three races of men whose ethnographic table given by Genesis 10. Whenever the sons of Noah are enumerated in the Bible, Cham is placed between Shem and Japheth. However, from Genesis 9:24, this enumeration is not based on age, since Cham is there spoken of as the younger son of Noah. Okay, going back over here. So this is Cham. So this should be Cham's bloodline. Who are the Sinites? Alright, let me try this. Search Google. Show me an image of the Sinite. What does the Sinite look like? I think the Sinites look like Asian people. A little bit. Alright, I'll come back to that later. Alright. So Noah had three sons. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, some people, as I just saw, another name for Ham is Cham. Now, in these Bibles, they're translated really badly. So we never really, because at different times in history, people use different names for the same groups of people. So it's not exactly easy to look them up. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. So let's see. So that means that the people, the animals were tearing it up. The ecosystem was probably falling apart. The earth was also corrupt before God and was filled with violence. God saw how corrupt the earth become, for all the people on the earth had corrupted their ways. God looked upon the earth and saw that it was corrupt, for all the living creatures on the earth had corrupted their ways. I wonder what that word corrupt could mean, what it would have looked like. Could it have been a disease? Could the animals have been behaving in ways that did not promote life? It was like, it's like when you have like a tank full of fish and the fish start to get sick and you say, I gotta kill all the fish off and start fresh and just save the few that are gonna live. Sometimes it's a disease in the tank, or the fish start behaving badly. All right. So God said to Noah, "I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them, and I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth." So God decided He was going to destroy the people, because if He went on, He'd have to destroy both the people and the earth. All right. So God was all right. Most of the verses say the same thing. God said to Noah, "The end of all living creatures come before me, because throughout them the earth is full of violence. Now behold, I will destroy them and the earth." And this one it says God's just going to destroy both the earth and them. And this one is, and the other ones previously said God's going to just destroy the people. And some of the other ones, God's going to destroy the people and the animals because they're being so violent. He says he's going to do this because in the last resort is just to destroy everything. So make yourself an archetype of wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out. Uh, Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. So in these ones it says cypress, and this one it says gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it with pitch inside and out. All right. What is an ark? I know Google's listening today. Ark survival evolved. Wow. It's gonna give me a video game with dinosaurs. No, no, I don't want news for a video game. I want images. 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 Wow. Uh, why am I getting dinosaurs? What kind of creature is this? Oh wow. It's some really interesting dinosaurs. Oh wow. I'm gonna get dinosaurs all day, ain't I? Aberration. Nope. Real life. Oh. Alright, let me try this instead. Let's have a, what is an arc? What is an arc? Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I guess this is what Google's gonna tell me what an arc is. What's this? Why don't people believe in God if they discover the ark? Alright, let me try this. I know someone said this before. CIA, Noah's. Wait. Oh, CIA photos of Noah's Ark. Oh, so there are two ways to spell arc. Arc with a CH or arc. I don't want Twitter. I don't want YouTube. What's an ark? Oh, an ark is a bow. And these two bows are shaped like freaking dinosaurs. Look at this. The legs. Looks like a bronchiosaur. No, no. As often happened with many old stories, the case of the Mount Ara anomaly is one that has drawn the CIA for decades. The Ara anomaly is an alleged discovery of a strange rock formation of what many believe to be Noah's Ark, covered by glacial ice and snow for centuries. One of the best detailed analysis of many claims regarding the Ara anomaly actually comes from the CIA itself in a document released to the public only in 2002. I'm gonna come back and read this later. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long by 50 cubits wide. Make a boat 450 feet long. So cubits and feet. Wait. 75 feet wide, 45 feet high. And this is a fashion which thou shalt make of it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. Alright, so it seems like they're all in consensus here about its dimensions, even has it in meters. No variation yet. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high around, and put a door on the side of the ark, and make lower and middle and upper decks. I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all under the heavens, every creature that has breath and life in it, and everything on the earth will perish. And behold, even I do bring flood waters upon the earth, destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. Now, King James Bible is written in Old English. The speech patterns are a little hard to comprehend for me. I will establish my covenant with you. I will never, and you will enter the ark, and you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. But with thee I will establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee. You are to bring two of every living thing into the ark, male and female, to keep them alive with you. Every living thing of all flesh, two of every sort thou shalt bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Of fowls after their kind, cattle after their kind, every creeping thing of the earth of their kind. Two of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive. Alright. 2:16. No, this is 6:21, sorry. Verse chapter 6, verse 21. And take you every sort of food that is eaten, and store it up, and serve as food for you and them. You are to also take for yourself every kind of food that is eaten, and gather it as food for yourselves and the animals. And to take unto thee all the food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be food for thee and them. Now, could there have been less animals in those days? I mean, like, God didn't say I'm going to send you all the animals. Remember, a lot of the animals and the people were doing violence, doing wickedness. They were corrupted. So, what if the number of species that were available to go on the ark was less than a handful? A few predators. Don't we taxonomy taxonomy chart. You got kingdom. You got kingdom, phylum, class, order, families, genus. Let me try this in a sec. Animal, kingdom, taxonomy chart. So this is what I'm talking about. This tree-like shape that describes all. Not this one. It's a little too narrow. I want one that looks like a tree. This is the closest one. This was the one for all the sea creatures. But think about it. You have a root creature just like you have a root word in the language. It was a root creature. For every kind of creature that Noah took on the ark, it was a root creature. Just like how scientists say, well, all the mammals come from a single mammal ancestor. All the fish come from a single fish ancestor. All the almost not the insects, because the insects have way too much variation. But they'll tell you that all the vertebrates, like animals with spines, they have this single ancestor. What if Noah wasn't just taking what if Noah didn't take the whole species? What if he just put the root ancestors of a lot of the animals that exist today? Think about it. Think about it. Alright. I'm not seeing any good photos here. Because all I'm getting is really, really bad images. Do I have to look for something commercial? No, I'm not gonna get a really good animal chart, am I? So, just like I think Noah took what would have been ancestor for all the warm-blooded animals, and then he took the ancestor for all the cold-blooded animals, and then he took, like the ancestor for all the insects. You get it now. That's how you can fit two of every kind of animal that pretty much ever existed without having your boat sink through the sheer weight of having millions of unknown and known species on a boat. That's how you can have such a small boat hold every sort of animal that ever existed. So for all the debunkers and the bunkers who try to prove or disprove the theory, it was a simple solution. He took the core or the root animals. He didn't take two of every kind. most of the animals were corrupted, so he could only take a few. And out of the few, he only took like two, and then he fed those two, and they didn't kill each other. All right. And so Noah did everything precisely as God commanded him. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. All right. So that is the end of Genesis 6. What about Genesis 7? Genesis 7. Genesis 7. 7, 7, 7, 7. Now, in the Bible, the angels are very highly favored, but in other texts, you find out that they caused a lot of trouble. And God had to get rid of them. Just like the giants, too, because when you start reading about giants and what a giant is, what a giant does, is that they grow and they grow and they continue to grow until there is no more food that they can eat. And then they eat the easy food, which are people. Now you can see where that's a problem. So there's so are there still giants? Are there still descendants of the Nephilim? Have you been Genesis 6? Has your DNA been corrupted? Very interesting question. Hopefully I'll be able to answer it more later on, but I have other reading to do. Now if you've been offended by this, I don't particularly care. I've been highly offended myself by so many other things. Your delicate sensibilities are not my concern. Alright, now, if you think it's fun and cool to reorganize your DNA however you feel like, fine. But always remember that there are all these movies out there that tell you, hey, you mess with the DNA, you might create a monster. Or hey, when there's this, when there were these giants and things, they destroyed everything. And all these other stories in the Bible, they kind of leave it out. But in all these other stories, hey, there were these giants and they ate everything. Oh, there were these Nephilim and they started to kill off mankind so only their kind could live on the earth. Oh, there were these creatures that aren't human that came from somewhere else and they tried to live on the earth, but they came into conflict with the people who were there before and they tried to kill them all off. Seems like a pretty common story.